What is CityWalk at Universal Orlando? I'm Quincy, you're watching AllEars, and I'm going to talk you through it. If you're headed to Universal Orlando, whether you're staying in one of the hotels or just visiting the parks, you're going to find yourself at CityWalk. And CityWalk, you're going to find yourself getting directions through CityWalk, walking through CityWalk, or the park's closing early and your only option is CityWalk. And you might wonder, what is that? What can I do there? That's a very good question. So CityWalk is Universal Orlando's shopping and dining district. Similar, if you're more familiar with Disney, to Disney Springs. So this is it. You're looking at it. This is CityWalk. The catch here is that to access the original two Universal parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, you will find yourself walking through CityWalk. Also, CityWalk typically stays open much later than the parks. So if you're trying to extend your vacation day and stay in the Universal bubble, this is probably where you're going to end up. But the good news is there's a lot to do. So I'm going to show you around so you know all your options that you can make the most of your CityWalk time. Most of us, when we enter CityWalk, are going to be coming from here right behind me. This is the path that comes from the bus station, security, the parking garage, the Uber drop-off. Pretty much everything comes through here. If you bust from Epic Universe, if you bust from your hotel, you're coming right here. The only exception is if you're in one of the pricier hotels that has boat transportation or a walking path, which we will cover. But I would say 90% of people coming to CityWalk are going to be coming through this entrance. This is where we're going to start our tour. Right as you enter is one of my favorite attractions of CityWalk, Hollywood Drive-In Golf. This is a putt-putt course that is themed to a Hollywood drive-in, but with some pretty unique twists. For instance, aliens have invaded. But this is heavily themed putt-putt. It is not going to be your classic pirate-themed beach putt-putt. There are two different courses. You can do a single feature or a double feature and play both. And it's themed to be you're walking into a drive-in and you can go into the ghostly feature or the sci-fi feature, themed to those classic 1950s horror movies or sci-fi movies. The courses are very, very well themed. They're eye-catching when you're walking into CityWalk, and they are super fun to play. Rates for one course are about $20 per person, but it can vary based on what time you're playing. And pro tip, you can get 10% off if you book online in advance. Next up, Universal does have its very own Cinemark. This is a huge theater. It's multi-story. There are tons of cinemas, and they typically have pretty exciting photo ops and things for big events. There's a lot of Universal Pictures second events, like the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. You can see it on the big screen again. It's a really great theater, really fun theater. And I used to be one who was like, why would you go to a movie on your vacation? But actually, it's a great way if you have a break day in the middle of your trip to get some rest in and still have some fun, or something to do on the day that you travel out a little later in the day and you don't have a park ticket. Across the way, we have Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. This is a restaurant and market that is themed to Bubba Gump from Forrest Gump. It is a chain. It's obviously going to focus on seafood, but super fun for Forrest fans, medium quality. And sometimes there's a giant shrimp that you can meet out here in a costume. Now, unlike Disney Springs, CityWalk has 2 stories, and you're missing out on a ton if you don't head up to the second story. So we will be doing that. But perhaps one of the most important and frequented stops here is Starbucks. There is a full Starbucks location here, and they do accept mobile order here. It is a great Starbucks, honestly. They've got indoor and outdoor seating, so it is a full Starbucks location. The good news is, if you have any questions about CityWalk in general or the parks in general, there is a concierge which can be helpful with reservations and any questions or directions you might need. Just next to Starbucks is a Cold Stone Creamery, obviously kind of like crafted ice cream specialties. It is a chain that you probably have at home, but that doesn't mean the ice cream doesn't hit the craving when you need it. And this is also where you'll find guest services. Guest service is going to be able to help you with any ticket issues or challenges you have, any customer service requests you need. You can head right here. It's also right next to the restrooms and health services. So if you need first aid, if you have a headache and need a little medication, you can actually head down this hallway to health services and they will be able to help you out. Health services can be a total lifesaver, particularly if you have a headache or heartburn, which, let's be honest, you have heartburn, you're eating theme park food. So if you do, you run out of medicine or didn't bring any, they can often give you single doses for free. And our final 2 dining options on this little stretch are Red Oven Pizza Bakery, another chain. That's kind of the name of the game here. You're going to see a lot of chains. This one, going to be pizza. It's also open very late night, so this can be a lifesaver if you're in the park super late and you don't find time to grab a bite to eat. But one of the stars of CityWalk dining is here on the corner. You can find it by looking for this yellow weird creature, and I'll explain. This is a cowfish, which is the name of this restaurant, the Cowfish, which is a sushi and burger joint. And I mean that in a very meldy way. Not only do they have really delicious classic sushi and burger, they also have burgushi, which is sushi in burger form and burgers in sushi form. Cowfish is an awesome restaurant, and there are not many around. I think there's only like 3 or 4 maybe. There's actually one in my hometown. I think it started in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm from, but it is a very good restaurant. I highly recommend it if you're looking for like a sit-down meal. I don't often recommend the sit-down meals that are in the actual Universal parks. I would recommend coming out to a sit-down meal at CityWalk, and this is one of my top recommended. But warning, it does fill up. It can have a long wait. So be prepped for that and/or make reservations. But let's cross to the other side here, because one of the biggest attractions in CityWalk is the Universal Studios store. This is a massive catch-all store for Universal merchandise from all of the parks. You'll notice stuff from all 3 of the parks. So this is a great spot to find seasonal merchandise, as well as merchandise from Epic Universe. Here's Isle of Berk. You've got Marvel. You've got pretty much every property is going to be in here, with all of the classic merchandise options: pins, keychains, t-shirts, headbands, hats, lanyards. Lanyards are big at Universal because you often need to scan your ticket or your photo card, so it's super easy to just slide that into a lanyard. They've got the Love is Universal Pride collection. They've got Jaws merch, E.T. They have my favorite collection, which is the Universal Studios collection. It's very classic, like movie style stuff with, of course, their classic films. Massive selection of Minion merchandise because the kids love Minions. And the biggest section in sort of this main stretch of the store is going to be the Wizarding World of Harry Potter section. I actually love shopping for Wizarding World merchandise here because in the actual park, the stores are very, very themed, and they can get very tight and very crowded. It can be hard to see everything. So this is a great way to get out here and be able to actually peruse the merchandise with like elbow room and breathing room. They do have the prop replicas, they have the wands, they have the robes, everything you're thinking of, jewelry. And if you keep going, this has actually recently been extended. So there's now even more room for Wizarding World merchandise. And there's even a butterbeer bar in here. That's right, you don't have to go into the park to get butterbeer. You can come and get cold or frozen butterbeer right here in the store at this butterbeer bar. Or, you know, if you want like an entire bag that looks like butterbeer, you could also get that. Or this thing that looks like you're have butterbeer all the time. I wish they served butterbeer like this. That is like, yeah, my vibe. And then continuing on, we actually connect directly into the Super Nintendo World store. This is another addition, and it's technically just kind of an extension of the Universal Studios store. You'll see it's not all Nintendo. There's some Simpsons here, but it is mostly Nintendo. So if you're a big Nintendo fan, you're gonna wanna head here to check out all the merchandise. I love this Player 1 and Player 2 collection. I think that's so cute. Are you more of a Mario or a Luigi? I would be more of a Luigi, I think. Now, CityWalk is kind of shaped like a Y on the first floor, so we're coming up the long part of the Y, and then it splits this way and this way. It's kind of more of a fork. There's like 3 prongs, but this left kind of goes upstairs, so we're gonna save that for later. We're gonna go to the right first. Up ahead of me though, very important spot. This is the Coca-Cola stand. For one, they have breakfast, so they serve from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And breakfast can be a little hard to find without like sitting down for a full proper meal. So that's a great option. It is also home to Coke freestyle machines. It's a big thing at Universal. You can get their reusable mugs and validate them to get refills at Coca-Cola freestyle machines all over the parks and CityWalk and the hotels, and they'll validate it for a period of time. But another pro tip is that you do not need like a validated cup to be able to get filtered cold ice water from these. So water is actually very easy to get around Universal, especially at Epic Universe where there's freestyle machines everywhere. Just make sure that you have something to fill up, whether you buy yourself a water bottle, drink it, and then keep filling the same one, or bring a reusable water bottle, which is my action of choice, or bring a non-validated reusable cup that you used another day and just get water. Although I do like to get my cup revalidated because then I can drink Powerade and I can make fun mixes of Powerade. I'm so shocked they have this splash pad on because it is 55 degrees right now, which I know is not super cold in other parts of the country, but for Florida, that is brisk. Now, granted, they do kind of just have this one, oh no, okay, I thought it was just one jet. No kids playing in this right now, but in the summer, kids go crazy for a splash pad. Anyway, back to the Coke stand. It's not just Coca-Cola either. They also have a lot of classic theme park options, turkey legs, churros, pretzels, things like that. Really exciting is that if you get that refillable mug, you can refill it with ices. Yes, for real, unlimited ices all day. The first time I learned that, I drank so much icy, I made myself so sick. Don't do that. And don't let your kid do it. But unlimited ices is pretty, I mean, like, that's like my dream. All through this sort of like courtyard section, you'll find typically some seating. They rearrange this every once in a while, but typically some seating as well as some merchandise stalls. And it might be seasonal merchandise. It might be specific to an IP, but all through here you can kind of peruse more. It's stuff that you won't necessarily find in the Universal Studios store, so make sure you're taking a glance. And some classic theme park stands like face paint and hair wraps and braids. And these stands are sort of mixed in all through here, as well as a little further down. There's some though that are exceptions to the, merchandise rule. For instance, across the way here we have the Fat Tuesday stand. Now, if you don't know, Fat Tuesday is a chain that does alcoholic slushy drinks. They are incredible. They are so good. Think like primarily daiquiris. They also have like beers and stuff, but it's a lot of daiquiris. These are so good. I think they're from New Orleans, like the chain. And my friend Sage always raved about these. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm sure they're good. And then we got one time. So if you're looking for something, if you're having a couple drinks before you go into the park or after, Fat Tuesdays, I do recommend. This center area also has a stage with a tiered sort of lawn seating situation. And there is often live music, live performances right here on the Waterfront stage. Sometimes they are super themed, like you might see like Halloween Monsters one, you might see Christmas shows. And you just might see my friend Sage up there. He often gets gigs on this stage. So if you see live music happening, grab yourself a slush from Fat Tuesdays, a seat on the lawn, and enjoy. Orlando is full of extremely talented people. So if you see live music happening, odds are it's a local group or local performers, and supporting them means you're supporting local performers. And I think it's hard to think about that when you're like in theme park all the time. But, support local artists. More of those stands. There's also some more niche merch at these. For instance, this one you can see has anime, Dragon Ball Z. So seriously keep your eyes peeled. You might see something, there's One Piece. You might see something you don't necessarily associate with Universal off the top of your mind. These like generic bars can be found around too. And they do have like specialty cocktails. They also typically have seasonal beverages available. And then look, we are still passing the Universal Studios store. It is literally this entire block. This is the Harry Potter part we were in, so it just keeps going. We'll head up here in a second. This will take us upstairs on this side. Now we'll head up there when we are doing the upstairs, but down here we have Voodoo Doughnut. This is another famous one. I'm not making this up. I literally just heard people on the escalator saying that they spent $35 on parking to pick up donuts from here. And they had 2 boxes of Voodoo Doughnuts. And you know what? More power to you. Voodoo Doughnut is a chain that started in Oregon, and it is very, very, very popular, kind of a cult following chain of donuts. I'll show you why. They've got tons of donut flavors, bacon donuts, bubblegum donuts, cereal donuts. You never know what you might find in here. They do specialty stuff all the time. The donuts are incredible and so sweet and delicious. And if you ever see a super long line, they actually do offer a mobile order option. The line can get really, really long here. This kiosk across the way, this is made for mobile order pickup. Isn't that wild? That's how popular Voodoo Doughnuts are. So you're a donut fiend, you gotta try them. Sometimes I call CityWalk an outdoor mall, and I mean that in a very positive way. And I think that is evidenced by the Sandy Ann's pretzels. Now as we get to the end here, there's a couple more merchandise stands, but really, that's sort of the end of CityWalk, because as you go beyond, you'll see the entrance to Universal Studios down here. To both parks from the entrance to CityWalk, when you get through security, it's gonna be about a 10-minute walk. It is not a short walk by any means, so just be prepared to pass through CityWalk. Maybe budget in some time to grab your Starbucks coffee on the way in. Our final restaurant on the Universal Studios path is going to be right here. And honestly, I'm a fan. Here's the thing, there's a lot of flashy restaurants, that's very true. But there are 2 reasons I recommend this spot. One, if you just need good, solid, basic food because you've been eating wild theme park food for a week, NBC Sports. Or if you want to catch a game that you know is coming on, you want to catch it in a lively environment, NBC Sports, they have tons of TV. They will be playing the game you're looking for. And one of my favorite things to do here is to go to the bar, get a cocktail or a beer and their wedge salad. But honestly, just solid food in a solid environment and easy to get into because as you can see, it's huge. We'll come back to this spot, don't worry. And yes, you are seeing a tattoo parlor, don't worry, I'll explain. But we're gonna stick to the first floor right now just to make it easy. Now, I am gonna walk down by the water here because there's a couple of things that you definitely need to be aware of. For one, if you are coming from one of those Universal hotels that has boat transportation, this is the boat dock. So it's super close to the Universal Studios entrance and not far from the Islands of Adventure entrance either. If you are curious about the Universal hotels, I do have tours of every single one on our YouTube channel, so you can go check them all out. Additionally, if you are headed to Hard Rock Hotel, that one is closer to the parks than any other hotel. It is a walking path that is just over there. If you go to those Universal Studios arches and turn right, you can walk over to the Hard Rock Hotel. A lot of construction through here. They are tearing down Rip Ride Rocket. And then across the water, 2 really big spots. For one, you have the Hard Rock and Hard Rock Cafe. This is an actual venue where actual concerts will play. So if you're planning a trip to Universal, check and see if any artists you might want to see are coming to the Hard Rock. Maybe you want to buy tickets. And then of course they have a Hard Rock Cafe as well. And this is Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. Toothsome Chocolate Emporium is probably the most themed and unique restaurant at CityWalk. And it's another one that I do recommend if you're wanting a very like theme parky sit down experience. To be honest, this is the most theme parky table service restaurant at Universal Orlando, even more so than the ones in the parks. Basically, it's themed to a chocolate factory, very similar to what you might imagine as Willy Wonka. They even have characters walking around that will come to your table, including some of the chocolatiers and a robot who will come and talk to you. And the menu, very chocolate forward, even the savory items. They have chocolate wings. How cool! But their real claim to fame are their super over-the-top milkshakes, which you can also get grab and go. So Toothsome, kind of a hit. And of course they do seasonal flavors. You know they do seasonal flavors. All right, heading back upstairs. We're gonna be back in that central area with the splash pad. Now we are in that middle prong of the fork, headed towards Islands of Adventure, the other North Campus Universal Park. We're passing another of those more basic bar stands, and then there's a Cinnabon. Yeah, look at that line. That's about to be expected with a Cinnabon. My fiance, if he comes within like, I don't know, 2 square miles of a Cinnabon, he can sense it. So you might have to plan for a stop here if you've got someone like that in your family. We're also gonna pass here Big Fire American Fare. This is a very interesting restaurant. It's actually a bit more upscale. They actually have s'mores that you can do at your table, which is wild. But think like steaks, lamb chops, chicken. Very good food, honestly, no complaints. A little on the pricey side as restaurants in Universal go. But again, if you're wanting table service, come out here. Do not go in the parks. All 3 Universal parks have very limited table service options. There are like 2 in Universal Studios, 2 in Islands of Adventure, and 2 in Epic. There's not many, and honestly, most of the food I recommend in the parks is actually their quick service. So come on here if you want good table service food. There's great stuff. Another of those generic bars here, and then Forever Pearls, which is a jewelry spot. You can even get a pearl in the oyster, which is crazy. But a really fun sort of like very theme parky classic gift. Along here, more of those merchandise stands. Again, make sure that you have your head on a swivel with these. Like if you're a mega Jaws fan, this is like a hub for Jaws 50th anniversary merchandise. And of course, CityWalk is a very classic touristy experience. You can get custom painted sneakers, hats, t-shirts as well. We're coming to the end here. Ahead of me, you can see Islands of Adventure, but we're passing Lone Palm Airport, which I think is an extension of Margaritaville. Yeah, I think so. But lots of margaritas, lots of like, you know, very like tropical vacation-y drinks. And they even have some appetizers that you can get right here at this little stand. Jimmy Buffett piloted this plane on his journey through the Caribbean. As written in his book, A Pirate Looks at 50. and is the inspiration for the song Jamaica Mistaka. And yes, I said extension of Margaritaville because there's a whole Margaritaville. We'll get to that in a second. First, I want to show you Islands Adventure right here on the left side. So if you're walking through CityWalk, you want to go straight leftish to Islands Adventure, right to Universal Studios. They're about the same walk. Either way, it's about 10 minutes from that entrance. But most hotels, if you have a walking path, the walking path comes out right here closer to Islands Adventure, as you can see. Now these hotels do have walking paths over here in addition to Hard Rock on the other side. But warning, Cabana Bay and Aventura, it is quite the hike. You will probably want to take the bus. Let's talk Margaritaville. This is a full Margaritaville location. They've got a retail store. They've got the Porch of Indecision. They've got the restaurant. Honestly, I love a Margaritaville. I'm a simple woman. I like a margarita. I like listening to Jimmy Buffett. I like a burger. And you can do all those things right here at Margaritaville. Yes, it's gonna be a little bit more themed. It is obviously a chain. It's probably gonna be on the expensive side, but lots of tropical items inspired by the islands, and obviously some great margaritas. And if you need some Jimmy Buffett or just general beach vibe merchandise, you can head into the store. But with that, we have seen the first story of CityWalk. So we've got to head up to the second story, which is really where the party's at. CityWalk isn't just about shopping and dining. It's also about nightlife in a way that is so popular that people come to CityWalk just for the nightlife. Locals come to CityWalk just for the nightlife. You obviously have Hard Rock, which has great concerts sometimes. You also have some incredible bars. So we're cruising past the rest of Margaritaville. It's really big. And also you don't actually have to go all the way into Margaritaville to enjoy. They do have a walk-up bar over here too, as well as one on the other side. Just a heads up with Universal, they have 1 drink per guest per ID. That's sort of a rule here. So you can't like grab one for your partner and bring it over to them or anything like that. Both of you will need to go up. Another table service here. This is Antojitos, authentic Mexican food. I love this restaurant. Yes, it's gonna be pricey for like Mexican food, but super filling, super lively and fun experience in here. It's multi-story, another huge restaurant, and it has a great menu. I've never had anything bad here, but a particular recommendation I have is their guacamole, which is made fresh tableside. They bring a cart over to you, they mash everything together, they ask you specifically like questions about how much of each thing you want in it. Oh, the tableside guacamole here is good. Before we get all the way upstairs, I want to come down to this little outcropping. We're next to Big Fire here. So another general bar. Also a note for all of these bars, a lot of them are full bars. So you can actually get like shots there if you want, which I know there's questions about that in theme park settings a lot of the time. We're coming down next to Big Fire. We are also next to CityWalk Hot Dog Hall of Fame. Obviously, hot dogs. But super fun seating. They've got like these like stadium seats on the side here. They often will play sports games on this big TV up here. So, I don't know, you're craving a hot dog. But as we head back towards that center hub here, definitely a spot to stop in is going to be the Epic Universe Preview Center. So this opened prior to Epic Universe, which is of course now open. If you're going to Universal, you are probably going to Epic Universe. And it is a store that not only has a ton of Epic merchandise, so if you missed something when you were at Epic or you want to get something for your Epic day before you go, they have merchandise from all of the portals. They have Celestial Park merch, basic Epic merch, Dark Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, Nintendo, Harry Potter, all of it. But the real reason to step in here, and I really recommend doing this, is to see this scale model of Epic Universe, which is incredible. Look at this thing. This is wild. This is the whole park. You can see how it's laid out, and you can see sort of the scale of everything. Look how big Stardust Racers is, for instance. And there's actually even augmented reality that goes with this. There are signs that tell you how to set it up and scan for it, and you can see little peeks into the buildings, little 3D models inside of them. It's a very cool model. I also came in here right before I started filming this video to buy this hat, which I've owned before, but I lost it on the Monsters Unchained ride, so I had to buy myself a new one, which I've been putting off, but I couldn't wait any longer. Now remember I said there are lots of ways to get up to the second floor? We are going to go up right here so I can point out a couple more spots. We just came down, we're going up again over here. Vivo Italian Kitchen, Italian table service restaurant. Just kind of another option. I've actually never eaten at Vivo, but I've heard good things, so good spot if you're in an Italian mood. This is another stage hidden right here. You might see live entertainment. Remember, you see it happening, grab yourself a drink, go watch a local band perform, because as we often say here on AllEars, hashtag live entertainment is important, baby. Now you can see we're headed up to what's called the CityWalk Promenade, where there's nightly dining, dancing, and cocktails. And they're not kidding. Like I said, this is actually one of the most popular nightlife areas in Orlando because there are so many different bars. We're gonna start to the right since we have a couple more spots to cover over there. Right next to Antojitos, the Mexican restaurant, is the other major CityWalk attraction. This is Universal's great movie Escape. And this is an escape room attraction, but not like the escape rooms you're used to. There are two options for escape rooms here, a Jurassic World one and a Back to the Future one. And they are not simple escape rooms, they're escape adventures. You go through a story, you'll find yourself plunged into the movies. They are so much fun. I've done both of the adventures and I actually love them so much. I've done the Back to the Future one twice and I want to go to the Jurassic World one. So much fun. I can definitely recommend heading next door to the full Fat Tuesday location, grabbing yourself one of those frozen daiquiris I was talking about, drinking that, and then heading into the Universal's great movie Escape. There's also a full bar in here. There's actually one downstairs and upstairs, and they serve Back to the Future and Jurassic World themed drinks. And you do not have to be doing the escape rooms to visit those bars. There's also a ton of displays for the movies with costumes and props. So worth heading in here, even if you don't want to pay to do the rooms, just to see those and maybe grab a themed drink if you're a big fan of either franchise. Probably the most popular nightlife spot is right here, which is CityWalk's Rising Star Karaoke. This is karaoke. It does fill up, so if you want to sing, get in there and get signed up quick. Otherwise, you might not sing that night. You can get pizza from Red Oven while you're here. They have specialty cocktails. Servers will come to your table and you can sing and watch karaoke. Continuing on the promenade, another of those generic bars, they're kind of everywhere. And we're gonna come across Pat O'Brien's right here. It's tucked sort of on this first floor right here. Pat O'Brien's sounds like it might be like an Irish pub, and it's got a little bit of that vibe, but this is actually more of a New Orleans themed spot. This is going to be a dueling piano bar, so you can see live pianists dueling and playing requests. It's a full restaurant serving like Cajun and New Orleans fare, and then also a great bar. If some of the other spots on the promenade get a little too lively and you need to simmer down but you don't want to let the party stop, Pat O'Brien's is a great spot for that mid-level hype. If you don't want that mid-level hype, if you want an exciting dance floor, then you're gonna wanna head just next door to the Bob Marley bar. Now similar, this is a full restaurant, gonna be obviously a lot of Jamaican fare, as you might guess with Bob Marley, but this is also often a very, very lively nightlife spot. Hop-in dance floor, obviously playing a lot of reggae tunes, and of course, there's a walk-up bar, mobile pickup. You can get food and drink because CityWalk is on Universal property, which means you can just walk around with your drinks. But my personal favorite bar at CityWalk, and if you can only go to one bar, I recommend this one, is the Red Coconut Club. Now this is a year-round bar, a little bit of a tropical vibe year-round. Really great drinks, live music, dance floors, DJs. You never know what you might find. But what's super cool about it is they do seasonal overlays. And the seasonal overlays tie in with the events that are happening at Universal Orlando. So Red Coconut Club does a whole Mardi Gras overlay around Mardi Gras. And the best time of year is when it becomes Dead Coconut Club for Halloween. You'll see Halloween themed drinks, Halloween themed entertainment, and really intense Halloween themed decorations. This year the theme is Coven, which is a sorority of witches that is throwing a party at the Dead Coconut Club for their annual Samhain Bash. If you don't know, Samhain is the origins of Halloween. Now, I'm gonna do a very important part of Universal CityWalk, which is the chain eating quick service section. This is for when you just want something that you're used to on your vacation. You just need something filling, something fast. There are some options up here. Little exception to that has been the Bao. Now this is gonna be fast, but it is a Bao bun stand. Again, this is going to be a little more unique. They've got a couple of different bao bun options. In my opinion, little overpriced, and the quality is fine, but not great. So I'd skip this one unless you're really wanting something that's just like really quick and kind of filling, then it can maybe fill it. I do get them. They're not my favorite thing. This, I go a lot. This is a little like food court basically that has a Moe's, a Panda Express, and a Burger King Whopper bar. And so this is going to be classics, you know, your chains that you have at home. Not something to go out of the way for, but really, really helpful in a pinch when you're starving, or perhaps you're bar hopping over at the promenade and you need fried rice or a burrito or a burger. For something a little lighter, something that I go to a lot if the theme park food is weighing me down, is Breadbox handcrafted sandwiches. This is kind of, a build your own sandwich. This is a sandwich spot, and the sandwiches are very good. So they have hot and cold sandwich options here. It's quick service, and they actually have kind of more, better ingredients than you might expect. And they're a little more upscale ingredients-wise, like whipped burrata, for instance. Oh, look where we are. We are at the top of those stairs I pointed out earlier. We're coming back around to the tattoo parlor. This is Hart and Huntington Tattoo Company. And yeah, it's an actual tattoo parlor. You can come here and you can get a tattoo. And finally, another dessert chain, kind of a throwback, I think, for a lot of people, is Menchie's Frozen Yogurt. Build your own frozen yogurt bowls with toppings and sauces and all the different frozen yogurt flavors. You can mix and match whatever you want in the bowl. And somehow the ones I make are always kind of gross, and then I have to eat them anyway. They have a Menchie's up here. No joke, me and my friend Emma do frequent this. We love Menchie's. It's very good. It's good frozen yogurt. I miss the day of a frozen yogurt shop on every corner. When I was a teenager, that was the move during the week or on the week, really any day. If you're still here, like this video and drop this secret code in the comments so we know you made it all the way. Plus, don't forget to subscribe. We upload guides, tips, info, and more from Universal and beyond all week because we are serious about fun. See you next time.